Hi. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys did not already know, my name is Jordan, better known as Jordan T Fit on all socials. We have a guest with us today. I am currently 2 weeks out from my next bodybuilding show. Yes, 2 weeks. So basically this whole video is going to be about prep. If you're interested in prep, I suggest listening. We'll be doing a prep Q&A, a prep body physique update. I'm talking about the calories, the cardio, the lifts, the energy, all the above. I'm also going to be running you through my little morning routine, some posing, and maybe I'll show you guys how to do a little lat spread. Let's get going. In my soul, in my soul, in my soul, in my soul, I feel so alive. I feel so alive. I feel so alive. In my soul, in my soul, in my soul, in my soul, I feel so alive. I feel so alive. I feel so alive. In my soul, 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 I feel so alive. Welcome to Lat Spreading 101, beginner style. People make lat spreading literally 10 times harder than it actually is, so I'm going to show you how to do it super easy. So, step one, pretend you're doing a lat pull down. This way our lats are engaged. If you don't know, your lats are right here. We have the upper lats and the lower lats. So, we have them engaged, right? Step number two, we're going to squinch our back, bring our arms down and under our ribs. What I mean by squinching is keeping your back nice and tight. So now that we are here, all we're going to do is physically push our back outward. Mind to muscle connection is key. A big mistake I see is people literally are just bringing their shoulders forward, meaning like they're doing this. You don't want to do that. That's not lat spreading. Lat spreading is literally just spread your lats. Don't do this. Do nice and high chest, shoulders nice and popped up like this. And of course, like I said, like practice does make perfect. Mine was literally hideous when I first started, but now that you know, it's literally just natural. But this is the way I learned. I learned the scoop way, so. Love when you guys do your lat spreads and try to do them and you send them to me, so keep sending them to me. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you both so much. So the other day I asked you guys on my Instagram to give me some prep related questions you may have had. Ew, don't be gross to your brother. Some prep related questions you may have had if you're interested in doing prep and or you're just curious about like what's going on, how I'm doing personally. So we're going to answer some of them questions right now.
I don't know why this was open.
So the reason I wanted to do a Q&A is because I never really talked about how I was physically, mentally, all that fun stuff post-show last year, and I feel like that's a really big part of where I am today, and I feel like it's necessary that I talk about it, so a lot of that will be revealed through these questions. Alright, so before we get into the questions, I did want to talk like a little backstory. So I've talked about this a little bit, but not much. My last show was in November of 2021. It was a quick prep. It was like 9 weeks, and I started off way smaller than I am now, or from when I started this prep. So different starting points. So I leaned out really, really fast, and I loved it, and it was awesome, and it set like this really high bar for like how awesome prep made me feel and stuff. It was my first show ever, and it was an NPC show. It was super fun. I met some really nice people. It was awesome. It was in Florida on the East Coast. Super fun time. Afterwards though, I did definitely overindulge in some food. I am not one to self-diagnose myself and say I had binge eating disorder, because it wasn't necessarily a disorder and or disordered eating. It was more so like I had the ability to eat again, and I let that get the best of me. So that lasted about like a month, and then it literally, like, I started looking at myself and I was like, you need to get your stuff in control. If you want to continue bodybuilding and you want to feel good about yourself and not overeat sometimes, like, get your shit together, girl. So it only lasted for like a month and a half of just like overeating and like eating when I was bored and just eating like to the point where like I wasn't even hungry and I was still just eating because I could. So fast forward now, we're in this new prep. I am doing a 16-week prep, so it's almost double the amount of my last prep. It's definitely going slower this prep because in my off season I put on more mass, I put on more fat in good places. Like I finally have a butt, but so this go around, like my really high expectations, like I think that's why I was a little bit like, this prep's so different. I don't feel that great in my skin right now. I feel like my progress is kind of being really like slow. Just because like every prep is different and I have to realize that, but it comes with the sport and you're not always gonna have linear, like you're not gonna drop a pound every week. You're not gonna look different every day. Like last prep, it was like my body was new to it and I started off leaner. So this go around, I started off heavier. I had more fat on me. So like the process of leaning down and getting conditioned is definitely taking a longer time. But again, it's a part of the sport, so if you're not up for that and the body dysmorphia through the roof, I don't think bodybuilding's for you. Alright, we have a special guest with me doing the Q&A, who loves hair ties. Question number 1, am I only doing one show? Yes, I'm only doing one show. My original plan was to do 2 shows, but to be honest, I moved down to Tampa from New Jersey. The first week of prep, I've never gotten to really experience living in my new home. So I think doing a double peak week, like another show 2 weeks later, it's just not in my best interest right now. And I think just mentally, physically, I don't think it's, like I said, in my best interest. I'm excited to do the show. I do bodybuilding shows just to do them. I love to challenge myself. It's not so much like, oh, I want to go pro, oh, I want to win. It's more so like, I just like knowing that I can discipline myself this much and challenge myself. Question number 2, do you ever feel lonely due to the intense focus required for prep? 100%. You can be in a room full of people and still feel lonely. The reason I feel lonely, it's not so much like, oh, no one's here for me. It's just no one can relate to how I feel. Like my boyfriend, he like eats the same food as me and he tries, but he has the ability to go out and just get ice cream, which there's some sitting in my freezer right now. That's not mine. So it's definitely lonely in that sense, yes. How do you mentally push past cravings? This is one of the most asked questions. So me, I have the biggest sweet tooth ever. It's so hard for me not to eat chocolate, especially on my time of the month, which I'm on right now, being 2 weeks out. So for me, how to push past cravings, just I remind myself that the food's always going to be there. Like when you're done with your diet, when you're done with your prep, like the food's not going to just run away, you know what I mean? Especially like when you have goals, that discipline, like as soon as I started prep, I'm like, cravings, see ya, not me right now. So I just personally just kick cravings out of my head because I am disciplined and I have the ability to, like, it's all mental. So must knows for peak week. So peak week is essentially the week leading up to your show. It is not fun at all. I will be the first to say that. It's just getting you to your leanest, driest, most conditioned point. Emphasis on driest. You want to look like this for your show, obviously, so must knows for peak week. Peak week is not going to be fun. It's going to be hard. You're going to be hungry. You're going to have to watch your water intake. You have to exfoliate your skin because you have to be ready to shave your entire body. You need to prioritize your sleep. You have to prioritize whatever cardio and training you have left. You just have to push till the end. Alright, someone asked, did binge eating become a problem? So kind of what I talked about earlier, binge eating for me, like I was never diagnosed. I don't think it got to the point where it would have been an eating disorder, but like I said, I was eating because I could, not because I wanted to. So I don't want to categorize myself because I know people that do actually struggle with disordered eating, like binge eating. So no, I don't think I would say, I definitely was not acting myself, like when it came to food. Like it would be like I would be out to eat and be eating stuff like that I didn't even really like it was just weird, and I was just like, oh, the food's here, like I'm off prep. So I feel like we were close to binging, but it wasn't at the level where it was binging. Someone said it's their first prep, how do they deal with, or how do I deal with low energy levels? So at this point, for the past probably week and a half leading up to right now, my energy levels have been literally so bad. Like I'm talking, I'll take pre-workout, get to the gym, be like, I'm ready for a nap. Like I'm just so tired all the time. But that's when 2 things come in handy. Number 1, prioritizing your sleep. Actually 3. Number 2, your hydration is key. Drink your freaking water, stay hydrated, get your sleep. Number 3, my most important tip to you guys is scheduling your lifts and cardio around your meals. So what I mean by that is like, don't not eat and then go lift. Obviously you're not going to have energy, especially when your calories are lowered and you're working with what you got. So like, I'll use myself as an example. I have 5 meals. I'm never going to say my calories, but they are pretty low, I will say that. So I don't lift until I'm 3 or 4 meals deep. So I'm lifting like at nighttime, like 7:30 at night, when I used to train right after breakfast when I had a bigger breakfast. So really just focus on your meal timing and use food as fuel. Alright, short intermission because my camera died earlier, but we're going to get right back into it, and then we'll just do a little physique update, and I'll just tell you all how I'm feeling, and then we'll wrap up the video because it's getting late. I have some client calls, I still have to go lift, and then we're done for the day. I'm getting really tired. I already drank a 24-ounce cup of coffee today, so there's that. This is a really good one. It says, how to control emotions while on prep. I feel like I get overly upset or very irritated. If any of you were to come ask my boyfriend how I've been mentally, like emotionally, he would say I'm a psychopath. Because to be honest, I cannot control my emotions when I'm on prep. Typically when you're on prep, your hormones may or may not get a little unbalanced. Hence why I'm going to probably get some blood work right after the show just to like make sure everything's in check and fix everything. But yeah, I can't control myself sometimes. So not the best person to ask this question, but that's something to know. Like when you're on prep and you are a female and your hormones are going all crazy and you go through your period while on prep, like there's a lot that goes into it. So the only advice I can give you is to try to breathe before speaking. Even though I can't practice what I preach because I get annoyed very easily, but there's that. Why do so many people prep even though they talk about the mental taxation of it? So obviously prep's different for everyone. For me, I do it because like I said earlier, I love the discipline. I love challenging myself. I love proving to myself that I can do something like that. Like it's 16 weeks of just isolation and being strict on yourself, strict diet, strict training, all the cardio in the world. Like that's why I do it. For some people, some people can deal with the mental aspect of it. Some days it's hard, some days it's not hard, and I'll be the first one to preach that. I've had very hard mental days this prep alone. But I feel like I've seen a lot of people that used to prep that don't prep anymore because it was too mentally hard on them. So just, again, another thing to take into consideration, I can't speak, is it's a lot on your mental. I feel like more of it is mental than physical at the end of prep when you're getting hungry and your energy levels are low, etc., etc. How do you maintain relationships while deep into prep? Another good one to go ask my boyfriend. I should probably ask him to come be in this video because, to be honest, he can answer some of these questions for me. Honestly, be open about it. My last prep, for a majority of it, I was by myself, lived by myself, wasn't in a relationship for it, and it went so smoothly. This time around, kind of relating back to the hormone question, there's been fights, not significant fights, but dumb fights over stupid stuff because I just get so irritated, and then he gets irritated, and then we're both just irritated. But one thing I can always say is just be open to communication. If something's bothering you, talk to the person about it. If you have expectations, while you're on prep, talk to the person about it. It's all about communication. Alright, this one says, is prep mainly a diet change? Does your lifting style change more besides more cardio? So, like I always say, cardio and diet are probably the biggest changes during a prep. Typically for the prep, you start off at bulking and or maintenance from your past prep, or if it's your first one, you just slowly decrease till you're in a super, super low deficit, which, like I said, I will never share my calories because they're for me and my prep. This isn't a normal cut. This is getting to your driest point possible. So it's a lot different. So yeah, it's mainly diet changes. Your cardio is more intense than I would ever do just on a lifestyle diet. Lifestyle just meaning not prep. When it comes to lifting, for my coach and me personally, my lifts are very high volume, meaning they are a lot of high reps rather than just 1 rep maxes and stuff like that, even though sometimes I still do that. But high volume is what really changes it for the conditioning of prep. I think I'm going to end it with this one, and it says, what will you do after prep? Will you ever compete again? So My plan after this prep is to take a nice long break. For a few reasons. Number one, like I've been saying, like throughout the past few months, like I moved to Tampa. I moved here on week 1 of prep, so I never got to really experience Tampa and go out and like meet new friends, and like it's not all about just going out to eat and stuff. It's more so like I want to be able to go out and not have to worry about like prepping my food or coming home and getting my cardio done. Like, you know what I mean? Just like live life. So I want to do that. That's not even the number one reason why. The number one reason why is because doing preps back to back to back, that's not healthy on your body. Number one, it's not healthy on your mental. Like, I would go insane if I went into another prep a few months later. So I really just want to be able to, number one, focus on myself, focus on my business, my relationships, all that fun stuff, my new home. Number two, I really, after this prep is done, I want to focus on my gut health, meaning like I want to try out new things and make some healthy recipes, like I said. Like I have a lot of plans when it comes to just gut health, healthy foods, eating intuitively. Like I just want to find my passion for like a healthy lifestyle again. Not that prep's not like super healthy, whatever, but it gets to the point where it can be unhealthy. So I want it to be like normal and healthy again. That's what I'm trying to get at. And then besides that, like I said, like I do want to focus a lot on myself in different ways. Like business wise, I want to be able to create the content I want to do. It's a little hard to create content when you're doing the same exact lifts, the same exact food every single day. Like I want to make it my own stuff again rather than like prep related. I also want to continue to grow. Obviously, I want to continue to grow not only just mentally but physically as well. I want to be able to do the lifts I want to do. Let's get into the physique update. Hello. So one of the most important measurements to me is my waist. I feel like I can see a lot of progress in my waist and I just like to measure it. So when I started this prep, my waist was just under 28 inches. And I remember my last prep, it was 25 and a half inches. So we grew like 1.5 inches on each side during our off season. So I wanted to measure and see what the new one is 2 weeks out this go around. Alright, so right here I just have a little like fabric measurement tape thing. I actually took it from my mom's house back in Jersey, and we're just gonna measure our waist. So my hips go up to here. That's where my waist starts. I'm not gonna obviously measure my hips. We're gonna measure right where they stop, because that will be our waist. We are sitting at 25, a little bit under 25 and a half inches. See, now this is good because over the past few weeks, I've been having body dysmorphia literally at the butt. But seeing like progress photos and seeing like a physical change in my waist, I'm like, that's awesome. I also wanted to do a glute measurement because I measured my glutes at the end of my bulk as well. Alright, so our glutes at the end of the bulk were 37 and a half inches. I expect them, I predict that they did get a little bit smaller just because I am losing weight. So we measure around the biggest part because that's what I did last time. And we are at 36 inches. So good. That's why we have an off season, to grow our buns. Alright, so currently, like I said, 2 weeks out, we're feeling pretty good. We're definitely feeling a little bit fatigued and tired throughout the day, and especially during my lifts. So like I said earlier, I have been lifting pretty late in the day, like right after dinner, because I'm breakfast and 4 meals in at that point, and I just go and work out because that's when I have the most fuel. I still take pre-workout. Come peak week, I will not be taking pre-workout. And then today actually was the first day that any like 10 calorie sauces and seasoning got cut out. So I'm left right now with some plain chicken and plain ground turkey, which whatever, when you're hungry, you'll eat whatever. Like, no lie. It's at that point where you're just like so hungry that you'll just eat whatever the food is, like no matter what it tastes like. And it's crazy to me because I realized this transition like while it was happening, because in the beginning of prep, I literally had a chicken ick. Like I just didn't want to eat chicken. It was grossing me out for some weird reason. I don't know. But now I'm like, ooh, chicken, I'm so excited to eat it. And there's literally no sauce on it, no seasoning on it. I'm like, oh, this is so good. So prep will do to you. Other than that, our lifts have been the same since December. I've been doing the same workout split, the same exact routines and exercises every single time. I'll switch up one and like here and there just to like make it a little bit more interesting, but for the most part we do the same thing for the past 3-4ish months, and it's whatever. Consistency is what's going to get us there. Our cardio is actually 7 days a week right now for 60 minutes each day. And you're probably like, 60 minutes, whatever, but like 7 days a week, an hour out of your day, you're just incline walking. P.S. I do incline walking at an incline of 10 and a speed of 3.2. So overall, to be honest, I don't think prep's necessarily hard. I don't think it's hard, like pushing through the energy being low, or eating the food that's not seasoned, or doing the cardio. Yeah, I complain about the cardio, but like it's not the end of the world, you know what I mean? Like, it's more so up here, and it's not so much like the mental discipline, because I feel disciplined. Like I said, there's literally ice cream sitting in my freezer right now. If I didn't have the discipline, that would be in my stomach right now. But discipline is not the issue. Working out's not the issue. It's more so just the mentality and the mental strength for prep that is getting a little bit tougher day by day. But like I've been saying throughout this whole video, if you have that in you and you're willing to pull it up and just use that, and you want to bodybuild, like, you're good. I always tell people that are interested in bodybuilding, like, if you, like, they're like, what's one tip that you would give if you think someone wants to start bodybuilding? And it's always make sure that your mental is there before you start. I also want to show you guys I have, like, pecs right now. Like, actually pecs. Like, that's when I know I'm getting lean. Anyway, we're going to leave off on my pec note. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it was a little helpful for some of you. Like and subscribe to see more.